I want to talk about burnouts because in today's day and age, and especially in the Western world, this is something that a lot of people either struggle with themselves or have dealt with themselves, or maybe know somebody that have dealt with it in their family or friends or maybe colleagues. And I want to make clear that it is something that's very difficult, especially if you have to deal with it. But I also think that it is not that complicated, because what I believe to be true is that the things that lead to burnouts are basically very superficial things. I honestly don't think that it's that complicated, and I don't think that it is that deep. How I look at it is that it's simply a lot of things that come together. So a lot of stress, a lot of difficult things, a lot of things that are simply not going the way that you want to go. And I can very well understand that it is very difficult to deal with. But most of the things, I believe, are the reason for things like burnouts, are the fact that we are doing things that are not in our nature. That we have to struggle or we have to struggle and drag ourselves to do these things on a day-to-day basis, and then at some point it is enough, and your body and your spirit basically or your mind just cannot comprehend with it anymore. So if you are going to a job that you hate and you have to drag yourself to it every day, and you're at this job where your boss or your manager is barfing orders down your neck or down your throat and putting the pressure on you, and making things more difficult and more difficult for you to achieve, and you get all this pressure for a cause that you don't even want, that you don't even like. You are doing a job that you basically hate to do. So that means you have to drag yourself every day out of bed to get to that job. You're at your job, some boss, some other human is putting down all sorts of extra stress on you. He or she has stress. He or she is putting their stress on you. Then you're basically stuck in a situation where you don't know how to get out, because you have bills to pay, you have a family to take care of, you have other simply things that you have to have money for. So you think that you need this job, so you go there every day. You fight. You're all day in fight with yourself. You are just constantly under stress that you put yourself under, or maybe don't even put yourself under, but just stress that is brought up onto you. Then you go home to a place where you think that should give you some peace of mind. But then there's also stress. There's also people that just simply don't align with you, or people that just don't understand you. And you are getting more and more stress, and your underbelly feeling, so basically your spirit or your nature, at some point gets so many hits, because you are constantly in a situation where you do things that you don't want to do, that don't align with you, that you don't feel like doing, constantly on a day-to-day basis. And then at some point you just can't take it anymore. And that's the point where you break down. And there are a lot of reasons that lead to situations like this. But basically, in my opinion, it all comes down to the fact that you're trying to fight your own spirit. You're trying to fight your own nature. And you simply cannot win from your own nature. So all these things of being harsh to yourself, trying to drag yourself through things, those things just simply don't work. It just doesn't work. And one of the things that a lot of people always talk about is that there's always somebody that has it worse. There's always somebody, for example, that doesn't have something to eat. And that is also the case. There's always someone that has it worse. But that's not a motive. That's no motivation. That's not a drive, because everybody is fighting their own fights, is doing their own things. All people have their own struggles. So you cannot compare your struggles or your situation with somebody who has it worse. Because if you say to yourself, or try to convince yourself about the fact that somebody doesn't have something to eat, you don't get any motivation for it, because you know deep down in yourself, your unconscious mind or your unconscious knows that you have a fridge full of food and a fridge full of drinks and whatever, and that you can always go out and buy more food. So that's not a fight that you're up against. Well, for other people, that is a fight that they're up against. So for those people, that is it's driving them to go through and to do a job that they don't like. But if your situation doesn't allow you to have that same motivation of these things, it is of no use. It just doesn't help. And that is also the problem, where I honestly sometimes cannot believe that there are people still in 2025 who think that putting people under pressure is going to get more out of them. It just doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work. You're never going to get people as motivated with putting them under pressure, trying to take things away from them, telling them that if they don't do certain things, they lose their job, or they're getting fired or whatever. It just doesn't work, because yes, some people will maybe try to do some things more, but it doesn't come naturally, because nobody on earth is looking or doesn't want or does not want to be put under pressure. And pressure and stress is okay. It's actually very good, but it's only good when you put yourself, and it's done to yourself, and you set goals for yourself that you want to achieve, and that builds the pressure. That is the best pressure there is. But if you get put under pressure from people that you don't even like, that you maybe don't even respect, to do certain things that you don't even want, that is how the pressure builds. And you're constantly in fight with your own spirit, with your own mind, trying to obtain things that you don't even want, being afraid of things, being afraid of what other people might think. Maybe you do want to quit your job and you want to work on a farm, but you're scared of what your husband or your wife is going to tell you, what your friends will think about you. And that is the reason that you go to do this job, that you go out there every day, trying to fight yourself, drag yourself to something that you don't want to do, that you don't even want to achieve, but you're only trying to achieve it, and you're only trying to obtain it because other people are telling you what to do. And if you're too long in a situation like this, again, this is my opinion, then that is when the bucket is full. Then that's when you just cannot take it any longer. And you are that's how you burn out your spirit, because you cannot fight or you cannot win it from your own spirit and your own nature and your own soul. So yes, it is not that simple to just walk out of that. I very well understand it. But it all starts with firstly being aware of the fact that you are doing these things, that you're constantly doing things that you don't want to do. And when you're aware of that situation, I believe that you then can find and look for things that might work better for you. And that might mean, for example, that you're not living in the same big house. But do you even want that big house? Do you even want to drive a Mercedes-Benz auto or a car or whatever? Is it really important? Is it even really important to you? Maybe you're just as fine driving some small car. But it doesn't. You don't have to fight your soul. You don't have to fight yourself every day to try and obtain these things. And the first thing basically is to just tell everybody to fuck off. I'm sorry, but you have to tell everybody to fuck off, and then you can find your own things. You can find your own things, and you basically just stop listening to people. So all these things, I also don't think that it's very. That you don't even have to talk to psychologists about most things, because they are very superficial. It's not that deep. It's very superficial, but it is basically always the situation where other people are trying to put you under pressure, and that is pressure that you don't enjoy. A pressure to achieve certain things that don't align with you, and that is at least how I think that burnouts happen, and how people are getting eaten alive, basically, because they have to drag themselves, they fight themselves, and it takes so much energy to fight yourself, to try and do things that you don't want to do. So that's how, at least how I look at it. Let us know about yours. Please share how you think about these things. Maybe I also can learn something from you. It would be very much appreciated. And for now, again, thank you very much for listening.